The truth is out like a global live stream. No one can pretend they are not here. The higher-ups finally decided to let the residents evacuate, but they were told it's just a temporary trip. Everyone hurriedly boarded buses to unknown destinations with light luggage. They never returned that morning, and now it's a ghost town. As the bus pulled away, the bustling city fell silent. Amidst the exodus, one car drove counter to the flow, as if saying, "I'm here to play." Driving that odd car is Belarus science superhero, Professor Anna. Her mission, stop Professor L, the minister's mad plan. She stumbled upon a loophole so big it could end humanity as we know it. Those bags of sand were like party stars sizzling and melting at a whopping 2,000 degrees. Once those temperatures hit, hot lava forms and the concrete melts away, and the nuclear fuel just flows into the water tank like it's thirsty. Not to mention, a thermal explosion can destroy everything within 30 km, a real battle royale. The remaining 3 reactors would join the party too. Soon enough, humanity would have to do a collective exit stage left. The sole solution is to arrange for 3 internal experts to squeeze the water tank dry within 72 hours, and time is of the essence. They immediately reported to the higher-ups, with urgency seeping from their voices, exclaiming, "We're going to be in big trouble." An energy minister with a flair for the dramatic and a bookish nuclear professor are begging a bunch of workers to help turn a water tank valve. They promise promotions, raises, and a little gift of $400 each. Back then, that cash was like winning the lottery, but the old workers were just not interested. And the reason? The valve was under a boiling nuclear reactor. They knew what that meant, but once Minister Zai shouted, "This could save millions." 3 brave souls stepped up without hesitation. "I'll help you. Count me in." It was like Superman had just arrived. "Stay cool, don't move." They suited up in heavy protective gear, transforming into the heroes from a sci-fi flick, carrying everyone's hopes as they descended into the tank's basement. The ground was already underwater, and it got deeper the further in they went. Their radiation detectors were screaming for help, and their flashlights were frozen in fear from strong radiation. They had to rely on memory to navigate the darkness, while those waiting outside were anxiously awaiting news, their faces full of despair, thinking the worst had happened. Suddenly, a flurry of knocking burst out. The 3 heroes miraculously completed their mission, and the crowd erupted in applause, cheering so loud it felt like they used a megaphone. They managed to extinguish the reactor's flames, but before they could high-five, Professor L doused them with another cold reality check. This was just the tip of it. As time marches on, the melting sand and bags would penetrate the concrete layer within 2 months. By that time, the nuclear fuel would crush the underground water party like an onion. This would spoil the river waters nearby, impacting drinking supplies for millions. They had to gear up and act fast. They immediately reported to the leaders, hoping for extra support to get the job done right. The next morning, the cool minister wasted no time heading straight to the mines to find the whole digging masters. Meanwhile, firefighters arriving first after the accident succumbed to radiation and died. Their bodies were carefully wrapped. Their bodies were placed in wooden boxes, stuffed into custom coffins like buried treasures, sealed tight, no grave robbers allowed. From then on, these nameless heroes would forever be etched into this land, leaving behind nothing but an eternal longing for their loved ones. They were just coal miners, dirty and grimy, yet selected for a top-secret mission, a real-life black comedy. Seeing the coal minister flaunting his armed guards, the workers felt a revolt brewing inside. "Are we really risking our lives for you?" Subtitles. They were utterly unwilling to go, with one even raising his hand during the referendum, saying, "Just leave me alone." The coal minister, realizing the workers were not easy to handle, reluctantly winked and divulged all the information. The higher-ups sent him to seek out the best diggers to head to the already leaked Chernobyl and prevent nuclear fuel from seeping into the underground water, thereby safeguarding millions drinking water. The exact game plan was unclear, but this act would impact the lives of millions. After a moment of silence, the workers decided to unite and move out of the fog. Using their dust-covered palms, they patted the minister's pristine suit as if conveying an understanding. "Look at these workers radiating raw dignity. Though they're at the bottom, they sure know how to school the noble minister. They may come from humble beginnings, but they know ants to be trodden on. They fight for dignity and the lives." Soon, dozens of shuttle buses rolled toward the power plant, and over 400 miners, facing the unknown, sprang into action without hesitation. They knew the faster they finish, the sooner they could escape this ancient place. But as the tunnel dug deeper, so did the challenges. They endured nearly 50 degrees of heat. The foreman suggested installing fans, but the general flat out refused. I represent the martyrs who do not yield for life. The foremen took the plunge, leading their teams into the operation nearly bare. When I and Elle arrived to check on the progress, they were greeted with a striking scene that filled them with admiration for the workers' fortitude. Though nearly half of these miners didn't make it past 40, they managed to save nearly 10 million lives. Next up, they had to seal the entire nuclear plant like a Hollywood blockbuster finale. They brought in trains to dismantle the cars, tugged in armored vehicles, and cautiously poured concrete as if assembling a giant model. Ultimately, they erected a 6-meter-tall, 7-meter-wide shield, ready for the impending refresh. Next, nearly 80,000 workers and 9,000 machines rolled in, working round the clock to finish the job. In the next 3 months, they used up 440,000 cubic meters of concrete and 600,000 cubic meters of gravel, like a materials party. During this time, Elle pleaded with the KGB chairman, but Professor Anna, who had been mistaken for a spy, ultimately uncovered the truth about the reactor explosion, but her desire to reveal it was firmly quashed by "They are the real culprits." Elle pointed out 3 people on stage, accusing them of being the masterminds behind the explosion. That's right, the Chernobyl reactor wasn't even finished, and the documentation was all fabricated.